These are the best first-round draft picks for every NFL team, NFC South edition. And what I mean by that is we're going to go over the Saints, Falcons, Bucks, and Panthers. Each of their first-round selections that they have, what are the positions that they should be looking into for their first-round pick? And off the top, we'll start with the New Orleans Saints. I think they should take a wide receiver. Now, I was originally saying defensive end, but when you look at the fact that we have Carl Granderson, we have Chase Young, we have Brian Bresee, we have Devon Gottschall. Now, we do still need a difference maker off of the edge, but when you look at the wide receiver room, whether it's Jawan Johnson, potentially Taysom Hill, not worth the contract on Jawan, older coming off injury in Taysom, injury prone in Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed coming off of a season-ending injury as well. I think the glaring need here for the New Orleans Saints is a wide receiver. And to me, that's going to be either Tetroa McMillan, who I really like as that big body 6'4" receiver, or Emeka Ibuka out of Ohio State, which I kind of like over T-Mac as the number one wide receiver in this draft. And I think he would look very solid with the Saints. Emeka Ibuka is an absolute burner. We saw T-Mac as a great big body receiver. I mean, you guys heard and watched and saw throughout the season what T-Mac and Emeka Ibuka were capable of. And when we just dropped our top 5 NFL wide receivers on the channel for you guys, you're even able to see further there the breakdown of those two and how they would be great for the New Orleans Saints. I think the Saints at number 9 really do need to target a wide receiver. Again, I was leaning defensive end like a Jalen Walker, maybe Mykel Williams, Abdul Carter, James Pierce, kind of take your pick there because there's a lot of defensive line talent in this draft. But when you look at our defensive line versus our wide receiver room, it's very clear that the wide receivers have more of a glaring need than a defensive line. So give me Tetroa McMillan, give me Emeka Ibuka there at number 9. We have the Atlanta Falcons picking at number 15 in the 2025 NFL draft in the first round. And I think without question, they need to take a defensive end. We have seen the Atlanta Falcons over the last 5 years or so struggle with pressure rate, pressures in general, sacks on the quarterback. They were bottom 2 in both pressure rate and sacks on the quarterback this past year. And when we've seen them take Michael Penix over at Dallas Turner, when we've seen them take Bijan Robinson or Drake London or Kyle Pitts over other potential defensive players, I've downed them for it every single time because you have to be able to get after the quarterback. And we know the Falcons are good offensively, right? Like we've seen that since the Matt Ryan days and even a little after, but it's always been the defense that has led up the most for them. So go get a defensive end who can be a game changer for you. Go take a look at an Abdul Carter. If I don't think he'll fall to 15, maybe you get Mykel Williams. Maybe you get Jalen Walker. I think James Pierce, I don't know if he'll fall to 15 either. But again, take your pick at defensive end for the Atlanta Falcons drafting 15. I don't think it needs to be any other position besides defensive end because you've got your offense built. You've got Michael Penix. You've got Bijan Robinson. You've got Kyle Pitts. You've got Drake London. You've got, I'm trying to remember the other receiver that they had who was actually, Darnell Mooney, if he's going to be back, like you've got him in there. You've got Ray McCloud if he's going to come back also. You lose Grady Jarrett, which is tough. Yes, you still got, some other defensive players out there like a Caden Ellis. You've got some Dudmans of Jesse Bates. Go get that premier edge rusher. Go get that pass rusher that changes the game, that disrupts the entire flow of the offense, that helps back up your defense when the pass rush is on point. Give me the Falcons to take a defensive end at number 15. Up next, we've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafting at number 19, and I think that they need to go corner because when you take a look at what the Bucs have, let's flip back to the Falcons a little bit. Of course, they have Leonard Floyd. They bring in Divine Diablo, however you want to pronounce it there. They have David Onyemata, a Morgan Fox. They've got players defensively at multiple positions. At multiple positions, they have defensive players, but they need to be able to bring in a defensive end who can just change the game for him. It doesn't look like Justin Simmons is with the Falcons any longer. It looks like he is with the NFL as a free agent. So going on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here, picking in the first round at number 19, I think they need to take a corner. And in that corner, if Jahdae Barron, the Thorpe Award winner with Texas, that is who the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should take at number 19. They need a corner. Jahdae Barron with the Texas Longhorns won the Jim Thorpe Award. And for those of you who don't know, the Jim Thorpe Award is the best award for college corners. That means that you were the best corner in college football. And Jahdae Barron took home that title. You look at his PFF grades, you look at his coverage grades. I mean, he was a very solid corner. When you go and look defensively at the depth chart, at the roster for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yeah, you've got Zion McCollum at corner. You've got Tyke Smith at the nickelback position. You've got Jamel Dean. Yeah, you still have Antoine Winfield Jr. at the free safety position, who's a very solid pickup. Yeah, you go and get linebackers and Anthony Walker and Hassan Reddick. You got some talent on the defensive line. And that's where I saw some people saying that the Bucs should go as defensive line. I think it's corner, though, no question about it, because you can have Hassan Reddick, you can have Anthony Walker, even Levante David get after the quarterback if they need to. But you need somebody to be able to hold it down defensively at the cornerback position. Corner is one of the premier positions in this league. And if you're able to draft one, if you're able to get a second one on a contract, that's just going to be great. It's going to be really great because the Bucs were fourth worst last year in passing yards allowed per game. So that is going to be a reflection of their secondary. If they are able to go out and get a Jahdae Barron out of Texas, who was the best corner voted in college football, then so be it. I think it would be a very solid pickup for them because they have pieces all around the roster to be able to compete in the NFC South. And you go and get a lockdown corner like we've seen the Patriots do with Christian Gonzalez, like we've seen the Broncos do with Patrick Surtain. For the time that Marshawn Lattimore was with the Saints, we saw the Saints pick him up in the 2017 draft. So if you can go and get that lockdown corner, it would be great for Tampa. If not, maybe defensive line or defensive end, which again, Jalen Walker, Mykel Williams, Abdul Carter, James Pierce, take your pick in this NFL draft. I do think Abdul Carter and James Pierce will be gone by number 19, but you never know. You never know. And then lastly here, the Carolina Panthers also, I think they should take a defensive end. I think they should take a defensive end in the 2025 NFL draft with their first round pick. Where is Carolina? Oh, at number 8. I knew they were right there. I was just like, where are they at? So Carolina picking at number 8, right before my New Orleans Saints. They had a 5-12 record. I think you have to take a chance and go get a defensive end as well. And I just mentioned all the names that are here. But when you look at their defensive room, Ashawn Robinson, Shai Tuttle, Derek Brown, some of the linebacking positions are okay. You've got Jadeveon Clowney, who has now moved to, strong side linebacker. Christian Roseboom, Josie Jewell. I mean, you have to be able to rush the passer at a high level. You have to be able to. Because if you're not, it's going to be too easy for other teams. It's going to be way too easy for other teams to run the offense on you. And I know that that's not something that the Panthers want because the Panthers were fourth worst in the league this year for sacks with just 32. So that's about 3 sacks a game, maybe about 1 sack a quarter, which in the grand scheme of things will work well in the NFL. But obviously defensive end is a need here for them, not only because of numbers, but because of what we saw on the tape for the Panthers, for how they only won 5 games in 2024. I almost said 2025, but we're not there yet. We'll be starting that season in September. Can't come fast enough. The Panthers need to go and get a defensive end in the first round of the 2025 NFL draft. Now, they have more of a chance of an Abdul Carter or a James Pierce. I think one of those two guys could really be in play for them. And if either one of them are available, go and snag them. Go bring up your sack totals. Go bring up your pressure totals. Go make the rest of your defense just better for each other. Go make the rest of your defense have it easier on them because they have a defensive end who can change the game. Because if you have a defensive end who can change the game, then it's it's just going to make the game so much easier. So much easier. Now, if I'm looking at these stats correctly, it looks like the Panthers were up there for quarterback hurries. Maybe not so much for quarterback hits. Yeah, the Panthers were about the middle of the league in pressures. And then, pressure percentage, they were actually towards the top of the league with 23.8%. Now, I might be looking at this incorrect. This might be for passing, like as a passer. Now, let's see if that's right. Let's see. Pressures. No, I don't think that's right. I think that's being pressured for the quarterback. So scratch a little bit of that at the end that I just said. Sorry, I know that was a little sloppy here on episode 99, but wanted to make sure I had the correct facts for you guys. Should definitely be a little more prepared next time. But that was the best first round draft pick for every NFL team, NFC South edition. The Saints should go get a wide receiver, whether that's Tetroa McMillan or Emeka Ibuka. The Falcons need to draft a defensive end. I think Jalen Walker or Mykel Williams could really be there and play for them. I doubt Abdul Carter is there, but you could be looking at James Pierce maybe at number 15. The Bucs have to go get a corner. They were very bad for passing defense in the last season. Jahdae Barron, best corner out of Texas. Jim Thorpe Award winner. And then for the Panthers, go get a defensive end as well. You're at number 8. You might have a good claim at Abdul Carter or James Pierce, but Mykel Williams or Jalen Walker or the other defensive end talent in this draft could serve you well. I think Jalen Walker might be going down as a linebacker, but we see these linebackers nowadays. Like if they're able to rush the passer, they'll have you put your hand in the dirt. They'll have you go and get somebody at the quarterback position. We know that. We've seen that. We've watched these positions change year over year.
Hey, it's AJL here. Appreciate you sticking to the end of the video here on YouTube. You could have chose any other show, but you chose my video, and for that, I'm very grateful. If you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media. Hit the bell on the channel so you never miss a post. Check me out on all social media platforms. Right here, you'll find a chance to subscribe to the show, a related video, and a playlist. See you guys in the next one.